So this happened earlier today. I was on till serving as were a couple of others. It was busy, so there were a few of us on the tills. As the number of people started to dwindle, the till in front of me closed down and was serving the last few customers who already had shopping on her belt. I had been serving for a good few minutes afterwards and started closing down too when I noticed the number of people on at the till in front of me hadn't changed. There were 2 people left. A guy who had a few bits, and an elderly woman who was in front of him. The elderly woman was trying to use a coupon that, for whatever reason, was simply not working but was adamant about using it. I couldn't hear the details, but let's be honest. The lyrics may change a bit but the dance is always the same. At this point I had nearly served everyone who was left on my belt, and I honestly felt bad for the guy who, at this point, must have been stood waiting 10 minutes or more. I managed to catch his eye, smiled, and gestured for him to come over to my till. He smiled back, picked up his couple of items and put them on my belt. I only had 1 customer left before I could serve him. "Those are on offer," demands the woman I was serving, pointing at her bakery items. "Those are buy 2, get 1 free." "I know they are." "Sorry, but I'm pretty sure those are not the items on offer." "Yes they are, I saw the sign." "I know those are the ones on offer." "I'll get someone to check for you." A minute passes and I get informed that her baked goods are in fact not on offer. She doesn't say anything. "So that'll be. What about those? I know there's an offer for them." She's now pointing at some other food items. "Get someone to check them too. I know they're on offer." I'm only part way through asking someone to now check for another offer, when the guy who I had beckoned across mutters something under his breath and just promptly walks out the store, leaving his shopping behind. As he left I saw the elderly woman still at the till in front of me, now with the manager there too. Even though I knew I was going to have to put his shopping back, I honestly felt for the guy. Oh, and in case anyone was wondering, none of the items the lady at my till bought were on offer. I'm a manager at a shoe store. Today, I was working cash. Sometime around maybe 11 or 12, an old lady had this exchange with me. She brought up a pair of Clark's sandals. With it being July, our summer clearance sale has begun, with sale prices on styles being anywhere from 20% to 80% off. These specific Clarks were 40% off, sale price was at $35.99 and the full price was $59.99. I rang her shoes and checked them to make sure they were the same size, a company standard our chain has to ensure that the shoes belong in the box they were brought up in, are the same size and style, as well as have no visible defects. She hands me a coupon. This was one for $10 off a purchase of $59 or more. "Oh, I'm sorry. I can't use that coupon as your total is $35.99 since they are on sale. The total has to be at least $59 for that coupon to be used," I say. The lady looks confused, then says to me, "Well, that's just false advertising." She paid for them anyways. However, the whole time I had been thinking about how the hell it was false advertising. The shoes were on sale and the coupon states the requirements for use. I honestly don't even think the lady even understood what false advertising really is. I just recently got hired to work in a popular shoe store chain in the mall. It was only my 5th day, and it was my first ever job experience, as well as my first ever chaotic event. It was a Friday, and the whole mall was having a back-to-school sale, so I'm sure you can imagine how busy it was. Kids trying to find the latest trendy kicks, parents trying to find and afford different styles and sizes, etc. I was welcoming in a group of people when on my walkie-talkie my coworker warns a staff of a reseller that was trying to buy out our whole stock of a certain type of shoe. My manager insisted that she would handle it, and she simply told the guy that she knew what he was trying to do and that she couldn't, and wouldn't, sell him the stock. He began to raise his voice with every word, calling her a BH and how he didn't want her stupid shoes anyway. She called the mall security on him, and decided to flail his arms and knock over shoes, and even break some display cases, as he left the scene. Shoes everywhere, a mess for us to clean up, all because a guy wanted to resell our shoes at an expensive price for some money. So I used to work at a major grocery store about 10 years ago. I had been working there for 8 years and got along with both my co-workers and customers. I worked in the dairy department, which is considered part of the grocery department, but I always had my hand full, restocking yogurt and milk. Dairy is next to the frozen food department, so every now and then, I'd get a customer asking about ice cream that was on sale. They'd ask if we had any in the back of whatever flavor they wanted, and even though I don't work directly in frozen, I'll check if no other co-workers are available, and it always very cordial and respectful, except for one customer. I was restocking yogurt as I usually did, when this lady comes and asks about ice cream and if I could check what we had on the back. The grocery guy was on break, so I had to help her. I know we don't have any more, as we got a shipment in and that one of the first things that gets 4F'd, but I still go back and check. I come back out and tell her that we don't have anything unfortunately, but that we might be getting more in tomorrow. And she gave me the weirdest look I've ever seen anyone give me. She then said, "Thank you, can you tell me the name of the manager that's on tonight?" I thought that was weird but didn't think much of it. I told her the manager that was on and she left. About half an hour later, I go on my break to head to the front of the store as dairy is in a back corner. When I get there, I see my co-workers giving me weird look. I ask them what's going on, and one of the cashiers asked me, "Did you tell a customer to F off?" I looked confused and said of course not. They mentioned that the customer that asked for ice cream told the manager I was being obnoxious and vulgar to her, and that they should fire me or she will take her business elsewhere. Now I've never had any issues with customers before, and my record was clean at the company, but that outburst from the customer ruffled the feathers of the store manager, who was new. It was decided that I should go to another location to avoid any problems in the future. So I got sent to another store about 15 minutes away from where I live, whereas my nail location was down the street. It sucked to do it, but I never had to deal with her again, and I planned not to stay with the company after I graduated college always. Since then, most of the people I used to work with that store are now gone, but the ones still there still talk about the customer with me when they see me. I work at an auto parts store as a cashier, and usually when people come in looking for stuff on the aisles, I tell them which aisle and where to look for whatever they need. If they struggle, they ask and I don't mind helping them. Well, one day some dude walks in looking for a tiny fuel filter. I tell him the end of aisle 5 on the right-hand side. Okay, didn't think it'd be much of a problem, and if he needed help, he could come up and ask me. Well, 10 minutes pass by, he comes back up to the counter, drops a bunch of crap on it, and says to me all angrily, "You could have said it was an end cap." I tell him that I don't really call them end caps and I just usually tell them the end of an aisle. Then he tries getting technical on me and points to under the counter asking what I call this, and trying to question me on my wording. I tell him it was my bad and apologize to him. Thought that was it. Then after I ring him out, he looks at me and says, "What? You really couldn't be bothered to help me?" With an attitude, so I just sorta tell him I didn't think it'd be such a hassle, man. He then goes on to say, "Oh, because you were playing on your phone being too lazy to help." I tell him he's being rude now, he tries denying it, then I tell him he kinda is. I really wasn't in the mood, so I just tell him, "You know what, man? Have a good day." And just walked away. He got upset at that and called out to my manager and told him I needed to work on my customer service skills and needed to be talked to. My coworker tried to understand what happened and kept asking the dude to explain. He didn't and just kept saying I needed to be talked to. He leaves, leaving my coworker confused, and hilariously my manager was there at a computer but didn't listen to a word he said and didn't care. Edit, grammar.